request on the website the other day for Salisbury steak, and I'm really glad because I love this stuff. And it may not have occurred to me to give you all something that I think is mundane. On the other hand, it's absolutely delicious, so I don't see why not. It's extremely easy to put together, and there's a few tricks to making it come out just right, but they're not hard at all. And here's what they are. Alright, so I've got here 2 pounds of ground beef, and this one's relatively low in fat. I think it was about 90. You don't want too much fat in there. It'll get greasy. You don't want greasy. That's just an egg, and all I did was poke the yolk so that I can mix it in there pretty well. It's about ½ a cup of breadcrumbs. And if you don't happen to have dry breadcrumbs, do like I do. Squish up a stale English muffin, cut the crust off some whole wheat or white bread. I mean, there really is no science to breadcrumbs. It's exactly what you have in the bread wrapper. You can even toast it and make your own dry breadcrumbs. Now this is about 2 tablespoons of a seasoning mix that I call SOS. That's for Save Our Supper. And all this is equal parts of kosher salt, black pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. That's about 2 tablespoons. So you can just mix that up. Just takes 2 seconds, whisk it together, and then you can use it on anything. But you want to season the inside of your mixture, so you want the good flavorings all the way through. And you notice I'm kind of scattering the seasonings over the meat. If you saw the meatloaf thing, you saw how important it is not to overmix. That is about ½ of a teaspoon of dry mustard, and that's about 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. So you saw how important it is not to overmix the meat. You really only want to do what you have to do to bring all the ingredients together. And that's what I'm going to do here. Mix everybody up, and then I'm just going to make little patties out of it. But you notice I'm not squishing anything. I'm just kind of, massaging it. Make it happy. If you mix it too much, or overwork it, overmix it, you're going to get hockey pucks, and that's not nice. That's what you get in little frozen things, and that's what's given this a bad name. So Salisbury steak is, I guess it came out of probably the 30s, and it was just another way to use ground beef, which was inexpensive, but to dress it up a little bit. Alright, so here you go. Let's see, I had about 2 pounds. Let's divide him up. And traditionally, you simply had oblong patties. I don't know why they were oblong, but that's how they were. Now, what I like to do, you've ever had a hamburger on the grill that turns into a meatball? That's because of the way that the juices redistribute. So if you actually give yourself a little lip, you see that? I gave myself a little lip inside that little oblong. It won't poof in the middle. There you go. I'm going to do the rest of these, and then I will meet you over at the stove in a few minutes.
Please ready.
Okay. Alright, all I've done is brown off my little Salisbury steaks, 5 minutes per side. And it dawned on me that everybody might not be feeding a lot of kids like I am. You can make yours bigger if you want to. I make small ones because I have small mouths. Most of them. Now, when I put these in, I gave it just a little bit of butter and a little bit of oil. Yes, there's a lot of fat in the ground beef. However, without the oil and the butter, it doesn't get this pretty brown color on the outside. And you see how even this one wanted to puff up a little bit? So that's why we made that little concavity thing. Now, I've got a love-hate relationship. Hey, you. I've got a love-hate relationship with this stuff, okay? All of this stuff is what rendered out of the beef, and we don't really want that. That's nasty. But this stuff is fabulous. That's called fond. It's French for that crunchy stuff in the bottom. That is flavor, so we want to hang on to that. So we actually want to get rid of what rendered out of the beef, because that's not very nice. We don't want that. Now, in here, I had that on medium heat. You don't want to sear it like you would a steak. It's ground beef. You got to be a little more gentle with it. But over here, I've got my fond. There's just a tiny bit of oil left down in here. And you know what? I'm going to, stop. No, you're good. Okay. I have just a tiny bit more butter. But this is how we're starting the gravy. And and just a little bit of oil. You mix the two because the oil can take a higher temperature than the butter. The butter's got the flavor. That way you can use less butter. We have a train engineering project going on behind me. That's my little one. Alright, so we've melted all this. We've got 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of flour. And I like mine a little thicker than normal. So we're just going to whisk this in. You don't have to completely cook the flour at this point because you're going to bring it to a simmer in a minute and release all the thickening power of the flour. But you do want to make sure that you're not going to have any lumps in a minute when you add your stock. And you also want to start scraping all the stuff up off the bottom of that pan. Feel like that's your flavor, you pay for it. Keep it. This is 2 cups of beef stock, not beef broth. It's richer and a little heartier. Well, it's a lot heartier. And to this, all I added was about a tablespoon or so of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, we got everybody up. Last step. Now, there's all kinds of arguments over this. I've seen plain gravy, which this is how you do it. I've seen onion gravy. This is how you do that. Because we're going to simmer this. And I've seen mushroom gravy. I don't have a preference. I want it all in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow the onion and the mushroom and that beef stock to simmer together. And we're going to let everybody put all their flavor into the party. So I'm going to cook this over medium heat. And I'll be back in just a minute and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, we brought it to a simmer and we've let it go for about 5 minutes. Now all I used were about 8 ounces of sliced cremini mushrooms. You can use any kind of mushroom you like. Button mushrooms, of course, are far more traditional. This is just my personal preference. And I love those great big, yummy, look at that. Alright, so this is good to go. And at this point, remember what I've said. Always taste your food before you serve it. Always, always, always. This is just about right. It needs just the smallest bit of kosher salt sprinkled right on top. And then this is all you do to put it together. Take one. Let's find a... He's not so bad. My little baby Salisbury steaks. And you want to give him a little sauna. Okay? Right in here. Just enough to kind of heat him up a little bit. Remember, he's already cooked. It's rested. It's good to go. You just want the warmth. And then right over here. What this really needs is a big old pile of mashed potatoes. That would just be the best thing ever. Love it. Alright. And then just like that. Super, super, super simple. And yummy.